record it, and then what do you do with that recording?
So what I'm gonna do is today, different from the other one. So I've already started the recording. I'll take the recording and I'll take the URL and I'll send that out to each of the group members so that they can come in and watch it and just kind of see, what did we discuss? How do we go about it? So that when they take the group meeting quiz, they at least have something that they can put in there. Because I know that everybody has their own thing and they have troubles, getting around.
Yeah.
So, for example, James, he'll know what we talked about, and he'll just have to plug in the information by listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll try and make this as short as possible, so that they only have to listen to it once or twice, and they'll be able to answer all the questions.
I like it.
So, also, in case you forget what we talked about, that gives us the chance.
Yeah.
Mom is not here. That's my 5-year-old. She's freaking out.
She goes to the one she trusts.
Yeah. Okay, so it says to go ahead and review facts and characters.
Okay. Well, first of all, we got Jack Welch. I guess first and foremost, most important for sure. If we're gonna review him, gosh, if I would just say a line or two about him, he's a productive guy. I would say, like he's pretty powerful. He's not. He doesn't want to just sit back and kind of go with the flow. He really was like focused and consecrated to changing the business, and he understood that small changes are great, but big changes are often necessary to really, big risks to get a company to go one way or the other. So he was Neutron Jack, as they call him, like really did drastic things, I think.
I think that the importance of his actions were that everybody else just kind of saw it as, oh, GE is already doing well. We don't have to worry about doing anything else. Like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And the reality was that it's not that way. He said, hey, you guys have fallen into complacency and it's time to take a step up. It's time for us to move forward. And then he changed everything because there was too much waste. When it actually talks about the money, not money necessarily, but income, how he jumped it up from, what was it, 1.6 to 2.4?
Yeah, in the billions.
Yeah. And because first off, he laid off, nearly 100,000 people. He got rid of all the bottom 10%. So he didn't just fire everyone. He just took off the bottom 10%. So he got rid of the people who weren't doing enough, the people who weren't trying hard enough. And he said, I don't have any use for you. And then he said, now we're going to do something. And a lot of people might think that's terrible, but with the growth that he created, he also allowed for opportunities to build in other places and to increase or give more jobs to people. Mm-hmm. So he wasn't necessarily firing them as, I don't care about you, but saying, you need to take a step up. It's like a little reminder saying, hey, you can get a job somewhere else. You'll be okay, but just keep doing it.
I think what was impressive about him as well is we find in our society that a lot of it is about who you know and not necessarily how good you are at something, at least in my experience. And Jack Welch, he would just take like, oh, these are my 14 executives or whatever it was, and he just fired 12 of them. There was no favoritism. There wasn't any, this guy's been in the company for 20 years, so we're just going to keep him around, although he's not really helping us grow. He was just really searching for people that were going to help the company grow.
Exactly. He just said, well, bye.
Yeah, seriously.
Yep. And
cool.
The second part of the portion, the review the facts and characters, I feel like there's only really one character, which was Jack. And there's a couple people here along the line that made some comments, but Jack was the biggest one. It asked, what would you do if you were Jack Welch?
That's a pretty general question. At the start of the company, or just if we were in that position, what would I do in his shoes? Is that kind of what it's asking?
Yeah, I guess so. Gosh, would you take it the same way he did it?
Mm-hmm. You know what? I think that Jack Welch actually did it really wisely. I think I would do it the same way he did because he kind of took an entrepreneur view on it, or take on it, because he really like wanted to pick everybody's brains. He would, the workout, was that what it was? Workout and best practices, and these initiatives that he started. He wasn't about, this is how I've done it, this is how I did my last business, these are my ideas. He really was like, wanted everybody to participate, and I feel like that's what an entrepreneur often does. So I feel like I would do it pretty much the same way as him. But I don't know if I could fire as many people. I don't know if I have the guts to do it.
Probably not. For me, currently, I don't think I'd be able to do it. I could. Maybe there was something he saw that said, hey, this is how it is. Because I've thought about how important having a business was, and how important it is to be able to say, hey, you're not living up to my standard. And by my standard, I mean the company standard. So we need someone better. And since you're not going to live up to it, it's time to get rid of you. So it sounds really, really cold to say that, but it's honest to goodness about business. A lot of these people, even when we were talking about the Noodles and Company one, you can't just say, oh, well, I'll hire you and, I'll be nice and let you stay on. But at the same time, it's still saying, you need to figure it out. If I leave you here, if I keep you on as an employee, you have to be able to develop what's required to live out what our vision is. And if you're not willing to, hence the reason he dropped the bottom 10%, if you're not willing to make that step forward to push a little further, then you can't be here, because we don't have room for people who aren't willing to submit to the vision. So I guess that applies pretty well to the gospel as well. It's like you have to live up to what you're being asked to do. It's not just, oh, I'll pick and choose the commandments I want to follow. Heavenly Father's pretty strict when it comes to entering into heaven. So we have the opportunity to repent and then to live according to the vision of the company. But if we choose not to and we just go against it, it's like, well, that's it. You kind of get fired.
Yeah, it's hard because the gospel is all about second chances, all about mercy and stuff. And I feel like in business, it's a fine line. It's hard to be merciful and I'll give you another chance. And hey, this is business. Like I just can't keep you on or whatever. It's you have to develop a little bit of a thick skin, and I think that's something that I lack.
And that's why it's so hard. It's hard for entrepreneurs in general. So, before we explore that, because that's actually a really good topic, something that would be a great discussion point. Let's go ahead and look at the 4 questions we have here. So there's 5 that were given to us. I addressed the first one, which was the wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, and then discuss what you like or don't like about Jack's leadership style.
Yeah, I did the same ones. First 4 is what I decided to do.
So I guess in wave 1, what do you think the impact was on individual employees during the restructuring? Or why do you think he was looking on Jack? So I guess if you want to take the first one, I'll talk about a little bit more of the information on Neutron Jack. So,
you want me to take the first one?
Yeah, what do you think the impact was on individual employees?
Gosh, first of all, I think of the impact on the people that got fired. Obviously, they got fired. They had to find new jobs. So obviously, there's that impact, which is a hard one, especially when you let that many people go, and that stinks. I think another impact would be on the employees that stayed, and that impact would be really bumping up the standard, which is good and bad. I feel like with some employees, and the ones that they probably kept on probably had a good perspective, like, okay, they're bumping up the game, I'm going to bump up myself too. But there are some employees, I work with some that are like, if you bump up the standard, they just kind of groan and mumble, and they don't want to excel. They just want to do the bare minimum. And so I think the impact for the ones that stayed on, it was like, maybe it gave them more fulfillment because they were improving, they were working harder, their ideas and their I guess their ideas, they were getting put into play more. So I think it was a good impact on the ones that stayed because it bumped up the game and allowed them to to grow,
Mm-hmm.
and then it kind of stunk with the impact on the ones that got fired because obviously they were left,
Oh yeah.
without a job. So I would say that was the impact for me.
I guess looking at it from a little more heartless view, I guess the people who got fired, I think it was also a wake up call. Now, this is stuff that you hope they got, is the people who are off to the side. They left the company and they knew they got fired, but the specific reason why they got fired is because they were in the lower 10%. These are the people who were doing bare minimum or slightly under what was necessary. So in that, it gave them hopefully the recognition that, oh, I need to take a step up. I need to start doing better because I can get a job somewhere else. So obviously they work for a reputable company. So I can get a job somewhere else. I just have to show them that I'm willing to work, that I'm willing to change how I was. I also discussed with my wife about how it developed a chance for GE to increase revenue so that they could build more factories, or give them the chance to increase, to expand and grow. So that would end up giving more jobs to more people in the end. Hey, Brian, welcome to the meeting.
Hey, hold on.
So we're part of the way into it. We've covered the first half of the first question. We've already played. So we're just about to cover the second half of the first question.
Kevin, I feel like a bum, but I think I'm going to have to go in about 5 minutes here.
You think so? All right, we'll stay on. We'll finish this first question. And then you can watch the rest of the video later and put in the information. Because I'm not going to send this. This doesn't need to be sent to the teacher. So if you showed up, I count that as being an active participant. Okay?
Gotcha. And I'll just have to submit that assignment before 10. So.
Before 10. So I'll go ahead and finish this next part. It says, so why do you think he was referred to as Neutron Jack? Short and simple, the neutron bomb was built to attack, detonate in a very specific area. Like, it controlled fallout and, I guess, compartmentalized the explosion. So instead of a nuclear bomb, it was like what we know of as a nuclear bomb. It was more of a neutron bomb that attacked the one place but didn't destroy everything around it, so to say. When Neutron Jack came in, he literally overturned everything. He just came in and wrecked. He fired people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, but he didn't leave all of that fallout. It didn't cause problems with the business. It actually helped increase the growth factor of GE. So that's why I think that he was referred to as Neutron Jack.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you said, and I would just say this is probably and he didn't like the term, so we obviously know that it was like negative, negatively used, and probably by the people that were getting fired too. Like, man, he's just like a bomb, like killing us all, like taking away our jobs, really. So yeah, simply said, he was just wiping people out. He took a lot of people out of their jobs, and so he's probably referred to as Neutron Jack.
Dang. All right. Here. Okay, so question 2. It says, Wave 2, please discuss your thoughts on workout best practices and the way Jack felt about the about leaders. Brian, did you happen to cover B?
Yeah, I'm actually looking for my assignment because I didn't save it in the right spot.
Oh,
I definitely turned it in, but I'm not exactly sure where it is. So.
Oh no, that's fine.
As soon as I find it, though, I'll be able to participate.
Oh no, that's perfect. That's all right. So let's cover this from what I know. Workout. From what I remember about workout, oh my gosh, I don't even remember anything about workout. Let me search this up.
This is when employees that have changed talk to their managers about what they wanted to change, and the manager had to decide within like 2 minutes or 1 minute or something to accept or decline the idea given by the employees, and it proved to be pretty effective. I mean, if you want to have you would ask people that are actually doing the work that when you do this.
Hey, Jacob.
Yeah.
It's hard to hear you. No, I don't know what's going on.
Could you hear me before?
Oh, was your hand covering the microphone?
I don't think so.
That's weird. For some reason, it went silent, but when you moved your laptop, it worked.
How about now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
So, like you were saying, workout was when they did the whole like thing with the people.
Yeah, they let the employees tell the managers what they thought about things and how they thought they could be more productive, and they had to either accept or decline their petition, like right there on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's awesome, actually.
I think it was a great idea. I also noticed that down at the bottom, the page 20, there's actually something written by Jack Welch to 30 participants. It said, I'm looking forward to an exciting time with you tomorrow. I've included here a few thoughts for you to think about prior to your session. As a group situation, tomorrow you are appointed CEO of GE. What would you do in first 30 days? Do you have a current vision of what to do? How would you go about developing one? Present your best shot at a vision. How would you go about selling the vision? Foundations would you build on? What current practices would you jettison? So it's kind of cool. He literally sent out an email and he said, what would you do if you got my job?
That's intense.
So that's kind of I think that's what he sent before they went into that whole, let's set up a whole bunch, and that poor guy got 108 things that he had to accept or reject on this. I feel bad for him.
Hey guys, I think I'm gonna have to take off now, but I'll watch this later and finish up my assignment. Okay.
All right, sounds perfect.
Thank you so much, Kevin and Brian.
Have a good night, Jacob.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so I found it. For some reason, I saved it as my weekly reflection journal.
Oh, dang.
I couldn't find it, but I did it and turned it in. So
I'm glad you found it.
same. I was a little worried because I wasn't sure what I turned in, but
all right.
So,
I'll let you take over now because kind of was yours to do in the first place.
Yeah, my bad. I kind of took a long nap and yeah.
Oh no, you're good. I understand. Plus, we normally had it set at 7 Idaho time, so
okay. Yeah,
a little weird for Jacob because Jacob needed to go do something for, I think it was his girlfriend or wife, or I don't know.
I don't know. All right, so where were we at? Let me.
So we're kind of we're part of the way through B, which is discuss your thoughts on workout best practices and the way Jack felt about and approach developing leaders.
Oh, that one I actually didn't answer. That's the only one I didn't answer actually.
Well, go ahead and pick another one then.
I'll go with the next one. Let me see if I can. Let me open the instructions page of iLearn.
Okay.
All right. Oh wait, that's. All right. Well, I'll just do the next one and try and find it later. What unique strategies did Jack develop in Wave 3 and explain how they are beneficial to the company? Well, he developed boundaryless behavior within the company. He created a friendly, open environment aimed at promoting the sharing of new ideas, regardless of what area of the company they came from. By creating that, with the goal of ignoring all group labels like management, salaried, hourly employees, they were all much more willing to share ideas and create new ways of increasing productivity. And although I didn't put in the answer, he did. They did explain a couple ways that they were able to increase, I guess, productivity in certain ways. They did it because I think it was a company in New Zealand. They watch how they produce certain things, and then and we're able to they kind of sent, I think, 200 managers or supervisors or something down there to kind of study it, and they brought it back, and they were able to help GE in that.
Yeah, it says something about they sent them, and then in Canada they took the time to study it, and from Canada they went on to other GE stores in the US.
Mhm.
And the specific amount they said was a 20% cut in inventory costs, which
Oh,
if that's just on a store by store basis, you add that up, it makes a lot of money if you've got stores.
yeah, it's quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And it also says about services, like service-based business.
Mhm.
That was something else I put in where he went from 16.4% to 60%. So
yeah, that is quite a bit.
yeah, and I think he said he wished it was at 80.
Yeah.
So that was something really important to him, was recognizing, we've created this stuff, but now we need to, after creating it, figure out what we're going to do afterwards, because you can only create a certain amount of stuff for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And once it becomes obsolete, you have to have someone to service it or someone to make it better.
Yeah.
So that's what they wanted to move into.
Yeah, and they had so many. I think they had like 300 different segments. So that, I think, kind of going back to the boundaryless organization, that among 350 different segments, I mean, that's a lot of employees. That's a lot of different kinds of business. So being able to share among that, I mean, even if it's two things that are completely unrelated, they can still definitely pick up things. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it created like a nice, like a really, I guess, like happy environment, knowing that, even if you're at the bottom, your voice can still be heard.
Oh yeah, that makes a big difference for people, especially when you're down low, to be able to say, "Hey, I don't like the way I'm being treated," and then the CEO says, "Okay, what do you want to do about it?" And then you get the chance to say, "I want to do this." Especially with that meeting we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Well, I hate that my boss does this. He either, accepts or rejects this, and he needs to stop it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. All right. Next one. It's, in the final wave, Jack addressed raising the bar. Explain what he means by A players and the 4 E's. So do you want to do we kind of split up these questions answering them, or do you want me to give my answer and you give yours, or?
Yeah, well, go ahead and take the A players, and I'll tackle the 4 E's.
Okay, cool. That's kind of what I was thinking. An A player is an individual with vision, leadership, energy, and courage. And the reason he wanted that is, this is what I put. Yeah, he looked for A players because with the roughly 350 business segments within GE, and the company's view towards all those segments as laboratories, whatever, they want their employees to be leaders and sharing and spreading their ideas. So being proactive, basically not just looking out for yourself, but looking out for the company. And I think that might have been part of that was from another question or something. It was just in the reading that that kind of loyalty, that because they kind of saw it as what they said is like a psychological contract of was it perceived lifelong employment, that it created they kind of thought about themselves rather than being more proactive in the company and wanting to help it, because maybe you're not guaranteed that lifetime position anymore, and
right,
you have to show that you're worth being there and that the company needs you there.
Yeah, that makes sense. The whole feeling of, oh, well, I'm not going to get fired tomorrow, nor am I going to get fired in a while, so I want to do my best with this job, and I want to make it better for me and for the people around me.
Yeah.
Anybody who's going to stay somewhere for a long time wants to make it the best. Just like, when you get a house, it's the same thing. You put your stuff in it. You paint the walls the color you want, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. Yeah, the 4 E's connects with the A players because they're described or were characterized by the 4 E's. First one being energy. Second one is the ability to energize others. Third is edge, or the ability to make tough calls. And execution, the consistent ability to turn vision into results. So I guess having those four as a good description of the A players helps you to understand, you know, your job's not just to be there and to fulfill the job, but to be there and excel at the job. He wanted people who were saying, you know, I love my job, I love what I'm doing, and I want to always be a part of this. Not, I hate my job, but I'll stick through it because I have to get a paycheck.
Yeah, this definitely creates a different environment and a different feeling within the company.
Mm-hmm. And I recently went into a meeting with with my boss, and my boss explained that to me. She was like, I can see if I was here for another 30 years and you were here for another 30 years, you would still be just as happy with your job. And I think that's a special thing to hear, because for each of the people who are there, they want to be able to be recognized for the good things that they do.
Definitely.
Receive constructive criticism, but also be recognized for the good that they do.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right. So for the next one is discuss what you like or don't like about Jack's leadership style and whether or not you'd be a good fit for GE during that time. Well, obviously, I don't think anyone necessarily liked that he fired over 100,000 employees, because that's an enormous amount.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's major restructuring, but it's obvious that GE did need that at that time,
Mm-hmm.
And it did pay off, and it did create a different kind of company environment and company, just the way they went about things. So personally, I do think I would be a good fit. I mean, obviously it's a giant company, so it's different, but yeah, because I would be willing to take that risk and try something completely new. And the type of company that he tried to create, I think was, I mean, I really liked it. I really liked the way that boundaryless organization, the way he incorporated everyone's ideas. I think that just creates a really nice, positive work environment. And so that definitely, I don't know, just being able to share ideas freely is huge for any company.
Yeah, I agree. Just having the opportunity to work for a company that says, you know, your voice does matter to me, is a huge blessing. And personally, I like the fact that Jack was willing to take and make the hard decisions, especially with what was going on. So many people told him, you know, GE is already profitable and there's nothing you can do to fix that. You know, you can't make it better. And that's, I remember taking one of my courses and it had us read the Good to Great book. And I read that book, and Jack is the reason that it jumped from good to great. What I hope is that Jack also trained someone underneath him to say, this is the vision. The vision is eternal growth. You know, it's not going to stop here. It needs to keep getting better, keep moving forward. It's not about us staying in one place and saying, oh, well, we're good here. We've already made $6 billion this year, so why do we need to make more? Instead, it's, oh, we made $6 billion. Let's try for $7 billion next year.
Right.
We made it this far. Let's take another step. Let's move forward a little more. Let's do this. Let's do that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about Jack. You know, I don't know him personally, so I can't say that there was anything bad per se, because Jack's decision to fire off that lower 10% was really meant to say, we need a business that's going to move forward and we need the people to do it.
Yeah.
And if this bottom 10% doesn't want to be working hard and doesn't want to be doing what needs to be done, then let's get rid of them.
Yeah. So, I think what he did is he actually removed like certain parts of the company that he felt weren't actually beneficial to it. I remember specifically
we're taking away from what the business was supposed to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
He pulled out. I think it specifically said that he pulled out of certain manufacturing, saying, "No, I don't want the business over here because that's not part of who we are. That's not a good idea." And then he said, "We're gonna go into the service businesses because that one fits with what we do." making the televisions is something new, but making televisions, making refrigerators, stuff like that for the household appliances. And nowadays, if you see one, they're nice. They're not. They're not at all.
Yeah.
All right.
Sweet. Should we go through the quiz now?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, sweet. Or is there anything else? Yeah, no, that was it. All right. Yes. I'm just gonna do the. All right, let's do the summary of the comments. Or I guess that's individual anyway.
It is that one. Summary of comments that you contributed down at the bottom.
It's the date, time, and length, and.
So I put date as 24th February 2018 from 7:50 to 8:30. Because that's around the time we started. Jacob and I started around 7:50-ish.
All right, I'll put 6:50 because Idaho time.
Oh right, sorry. That's what I meant.
Yeah, it's all good.
6:50 to 7:30.
Like 7:50 and then be fine. As long as you say because you're in Utah, right?
I'm actually in Illinois.
Oh, other direction, right?
See, get that one. This last one. Now that you have deepened your understanding of the case after discussing it with your group, how would you change? That's again personal.
Yeah, it's the last one.
3 most important things. Number 7.
Oh man, this is a hard one.
I'm gonna do this in bullet point form because I love to do it in bullet point form.
Makes it easy.
Earlier on with Jacob, we discussed the importance of making the hard decision.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And that stemmed from the fact that thanks to making the hard decision, Jack was able to turn GE into a more profitable company, saying this is how we're going to do it and this is what we're going to change. And that was a great decision on his part. And that's what we have to do as well. If we're looking into starting our own business, we need to be prepared to say, sorry, buds, we got to get rid of you because you're not living up to the expectations of what we need as a company.
Yeah, exactly. Not always you can like them, but if they're not making you money, it's.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're a loss, then we need to cut our losses.
Yeah.
What else? I guess another thing you were here for it, we discussed giving a voice. Give a voice to the little guy.
Okay, that's what I was going to bring up. Yeah. Honestly, I really like that idea. Like, I think that's amazing because there's people that you never expect to have great ideas or know where to look for those great ideas, and that making everyone feel open to share is just like, I mean, that's like you pay people to help you with those decisions, and so to get that from your employees for free, that's honestly like a huge asset.
That's actually cool because there's that's one of the positions I actually wanted to go into was oh my gosh, I keep forgetting the name. A business consultant. It's what I like to do about consulting is people can come to me and ask me the questions, hey, I need to know how to improve this. And it's pretty easy for a third party to come in and say, this is what needs to happen. You can get rid of this and this and this. And that's a very, unbiased part. But if you get good people who work for your company and actually like working for it, because he removed the lower 10% who didn't care, and then he had these meetings. So he said, we're going to take people who actually like working here, and we're going to give them a voice and let them know how do you want to improve the business? Because this is what's important. You guys like it here. You want to be here. So how do we improve it?
Yeah.
So
that was huge. And yeah. Then I guess the other most important thing was basically finding A players, finding people that want to see the company succeed and aren't just there for a paycheck. Well, I mean, obviously you're still there for a paycheck, but
yeah,
beyond that, beyond just your personal gain, because at the end of the day, if the company is doing better, your paycheck's going to look better.
oh, yeah.
And so that, yeah, so that's, I think that was huge.
I agree, because I think about my job. I'm working as a security guard for a really nice high school that is pretty much a college campus. And working there, I want the students to be able to feel like it's safe to come and talk to us, because a lot of teenagers go through the worst time of their lives. And I've explained it to a lot of the students that I've talked to. I've said, high school is literally meant to be the hardest part of your life. If you can make it past high school, you can make it through anything, because high school is the emotional summit of everything you've ever experienced in your entire life, and everything's downhill from there. And so I let these students know, while you're here, make the best of it and focus on the good things. And I hope that the students there can feel like they can share things with me as the security guard to say, hey, this kid's gonna do this, please don't let him do that.
Right.
So that's the A player form of saying, I want to be here. I want to add value to the company, and specifically add value to what I am assigned to do. All right. So as a recap, question 1, 2 are personal answers. Question 3 is 24th of February 2018, 6:50 to 7:30 Idaho time, or just 6:50 to 7:30. Were you present? Personal. How is your team functioning? Personal question. 6 is personal. And 7, 1, you should always be prepared to make the hard decision. 2, give a voice to the little guy. And 3, find A players who are not there just for just a paycheck. And obviously everyone needs to put that in for their own words.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet. I'm glad I was able to make it.
No problem. I'm hoping everybody else gets the chance to be a part of it too.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead and stop the broadcast then.
All right.